Mr. Harlan, this courtroom is not interested in your image. It is interested in the truth. You promise people safety. You promise them profits. But if this evidence is real, then what you built was not a business. It was a lie.
Judge exposed him $100 million fraud. The prosecutor stood up and said, "Your Honor, this was not a failed business. This was a carefully planned scam." The defendant slowly shook his head. "I never stole from anyone. The market collapsed. The company failed." For a moment, the courtroom was silent. Then the prosecutor placed the first file on the evidence table. Bank transfers, shell companies, offshore accounts, fake investment reports, and emails proving investors were still being promised profits while their money was already disappearing. Judge Grace leaned forward and asked, "Mr. Harlan, if this was only a failed business, why were investor funds moved into companies secretly controlled by you?" The defendant's face changed. His confidence faded for the first time. He said, "I was trying to protect the company." But the evidence told a different story. The prosecutor turned to the evidence board. On one side were victim statements. On the other side were photos. Luxury cars, private jets, expensive dinners, vacations, designer purchases paid for while victims were losing everything. Then one retired investor stood up with tears in his eyes. "My wife and I gave him everything we saved for 30 years. He told us it was guaranteed." The courtroom became heavy. The defendant looked down, but his lawyer quickly stood. "Your Honor, business failure is not fraud. My client made bad decisions, not criminal decisions." Judge Grace looked at him calmly and said,
"Bad decisions do not require fake documents." Then came the final piece of evidence, a signed approval form. The prosecutor held it up and said, "This document shows the defendant personally approved the hidden transfer of investor money." The courtroom froze. The defendant stared at the paper. He had no smile now, no confidence, no polished speech. Just silence. Judge Grace looked at him and said, "This court is not looking at a failed dream. It is looking at deliberate deception." Then she turned to the courtroom. People trusted promises, but the law follows evidence. The victims cried quietly. The investors finally understood the truth. He did not lose $100 million. He moved it. He hid it. And he lied about it. That day, the luxury image collapsed. Because in court, expensive suits do not matter. Confidence do not matter. Emotional excuses do not matter. Only facts matter. Only records matter. Only evidence matters. And when the evidence spoke, the whole courtroom heard the truth. He sold people hope, but what he really built was a scam. Follow for more Judge Grace short law stories.